Okay, so this is an example of monitoring for possible extremes on the Eurofuture 6E. And as I mentioned in the article before, just for ease, I've monitored the other extremes as price levels rather than pick anything particularly obscure or difficult to explain here. So you can see that actually first off we have this extreme at 148.82, and we've come down and then made a lower high at 46.52, again at 45.46, and then 45.13. And the key here at some point is that there might be a test back higher of one of these points. We've established a minor uptrend from these 3 points here, and we're going to look to see what then happens. And first off, it does test the first point here at 45.13. Now, what I've highlighted here is a minor consolidation after the extreme was made, and in terms of price action around here, the market moved in a similar way to what it ultimately did when it made the high, but then coming out of this consolidation, it came, rather than showing the confidence to sell off further, it started moving back up. So that was an initial warning that perhaps this wasn't a particularly good reversal. And as you can see, really, there are these kind of minor consolidations after the initial turn has happened each time. Maybe not all the time, but in this case it's worked quite nicely. And okay, so going forward, you can see basically we've come to the next point, the next extreme of 45.46. Now, to demonstrate the price action is quite difficult, but it's quite clear in this example that there was a good amount of selling going on. There were a reasonable amount of confidence sellers at this point. We can see here as it approached, this is a 1 minute chart, that we actually spiked through slightly, and we went from just about 145 evens to 145.52. So we went through by 6 prices, and very quickly pulled back all the way to 45.17, 45.15. Started establishing minor consolidation, then moved back up and actually retested the price itself by actually one pip short. This isn't an uncommon thing to see, and that sort of thing really sort of ties in with how you feel the market developing around one of these tests, important tests, and various different things can build a picture for you, and that's possibly a good thing to happen if you feel that the market might turn. So you can see subsequent to that price action that potentially was showing that it might turn, we did then go into a consolidation zone and break out of that minor consolidation to the downside. Afterwards, we paused around the trend line. And when I'm talking about trend lines here, I'm talking about broadly speaking. It's quite exact here, but overall I'm talking about the general structure of the trend. It doesn't have to be exact, but the closer the better. But it did break it. It paused around it and then it broke it, and then it actually, you can see, came back to where it paused before it then continued all the way down to 130.155. Now, depending on the strategy that you're using, I mean, it doesn't have to take into account that you might be trying to sell this top here or anything like that, but had you been long, you might have got long around this rejection below this 39.20, and you might have felt that you might take some off here and then see if it can hold the trend and move up and break further, and yet it demonstrates it hasn't. So that's one way to be using the idea, obviously. And another idea is that if it has then shown a good potential for a turn, you might be then looking to go short and follow the possible price action if it then moves down any more. But either way you look at it, knowing that there's a good possibility for the market to have formed an extreme is, in my book at least, a very useful skill. And it's a skill that, if you practice, it will become fairly easy just to intuitively recognize the possibilities, and then become kind of more aware at the time that you're watching for an extreme, and monitor certain things for the possibility of that extreme. So that was an example of a possible extreme. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you got something out of it, and thanks for watching.